Beloved child, you are not hearing these words by accident because something deep within your spirit has been calling for truth, for peace, and for a deeper understanding of who you really are, and as you listen now you may begin to feel a gentle warmth moving through your heart, reminding you that you are not alone in this journey, even when the world feels confusing or heavy, because every challenge you have faced was never meant to break you. It was meant to awaken you, and every tear you cried was washing away an old version of yourself that was no longer aligned with the life you are meant to live, and this is why so many things in your life have been shifting, falling away, or no longer feeling right, because your soul is preparing you for something greater, something more honest, and something more true, and even if you cannot yet see where it is all leading, you are being asked to trust that every step you take is guided by a wisdom far deeper than fear, a wisdom that knows exactly what you need and when you need it, and as you begin to trust this guidance, you will notice that the anxiety that once controlled you begins to soften, because when you stop fighting the present moment, you allow peace to enter, and this peace is not something you have to earn, it is something that flows naturally when you remember that you are supported, loved, and protected in ways you cannot always see. And this support will carry you through moments of doubt, reminding you that you are stronger than you think, wiser than you know, and more capable than you ever imagined, and as this truth settles into your being, you will begin to move through life with a new kind of confidence, not the loud confidence that needs to be seen, but the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, and this knowing will change the way you speak, the way you choose, and the way you love, because you will no longer give your energy to what drains you, you will give it to what nourishes your soul, and this shift will attract new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences that feel deeply aligned with your heart, because the world always responds to the energy you carry within, and as your energy becomes more peaceful, more loving, and more true, your life will begin to reflect that same harmony, and even when challenges arise, as they always do, you will face them with a sense of calm rather than panic, because you will know that no matter what happens, you have the inner strength to handle it, and this strength is something no one can take from you, because it was built through every hardship you survived, every lesson you learned, and every moment you chose to keep going even when it was hard, and as you continue to walk this path of awareness and growth, you will begin to see that the past no longer has power over you, that old wounds no longer define you, and that the future no longer feels like something to fear, but something to welcome with curiosity and hope, and this hope will become a gentle light that guides you forward, reminding you that even when the road is unclear, you are always moving towards something better, something that feels more aligned, more fulfilling, and more true to who you are becoming, and this becoming is not something you have to rush, because every stage of your growth is sacred, every pause is meaningful, and every step, no matter how small, is leading you closer to a life that feels deeply peaceful, purposeful, and whole, and as you continue to breathe, to trust, and to listen to the quiet wisdom within you, you will discover that the answers you have been searching for were never outside of you, they have always lived within your heart, waiting for you to finally be still enough to hear them, and now that you are listening, now that you are opening, and now that you are choosing to believe in yourself, you are stepping into a new chapter of your life, a chapter where you no longer live from fear, but from faith, not from doubt, but from clarity, and not from the past, but from the beautiful present moment where everything you need is already here, guiding you, supporting you, and gently leading you toward the life you were always meant to live. As this message continues to gently wrap itself around your heart, you may begin to feel something shifting deep inside you, a quiet realization that you no longer need to carry the heavy weight of proving yourself to the world, because your worth was never something that had to be earned, it was something that was always yours, and for so long you forgot this truth, not because you were weak, but because you were busy surviving, adapting, and trying to find safety in a world that often made you feel unseen, and this survival taught you many things, but now you are being called into something greater, something softer and more powerful at the same time, a life where you no longer live from fear but from awareness, and as you begin to awaken to this awareness, you will start to see your past with new eyes, not as a series of mistakes or failures, but as a path of lessons that shaped you into the strong, sensitive, and wise soul you are today, and even the moments that once felt painful or unfair will begin to make sense, because they were teaching you how to trust yourself, how to recognize your own needs, and how to honor your own boundaries, and this understanding will gently melt away the self-blame you have been carrying, because you will realize that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time, and that is enough, and this forgiveness toward yourself is not something small, it is something sacred, because it frees you from the chains of the past and allows you to walk into the future with a lighter heart, and as your heart becomes lighter, your energy will begin to change, because you are no longer holding on to old wounds, old stories, and old fears that do not belong to who you are becoming, and this change will not always be obvious on the outside, but you will feel it on the inside as a quiet sense of peace, a feeling that you are finally coming home to yourself. And this inner peace will become your anchor when life feels uncertain. Because no matter what is happening around you, you will know that you are grounded in who you are, and this grounding will help you make clearer choices, because you will no longer choose from fear of being alone, fear of being rejected, or fear of not being enough. You will choose from love for yourself, respect for your energy, and a deep desire to live in alignment with your truth, and this alignment will guide you toward people, places, and opportunities that feel right in your soul, because when you are aligned, you naturally attract what is meant for you, and this does not mean that everything will be easy, but it does mean that everything will be meaningful, because even the challenges you face will be helping you grow, refine your character, and deepen your connection to yourself, and this growth is something you will begin to embrace rather than resist, because you will see that every experience, whether joyful or difficult, is part of your evolution, and as you continue to evolve, you will notice that your old patterns no longer hold the same power over you, that you no longer feel the same pull toward what once drained you, and that you are becoming more intentional about how you spend your time, your energy, and your love. Awakening. Because you are no longer living on autopilot, you are consciously choosing the kind of life you want to create, and this conscious choice will bring a new sense of purpose into your days, because you will no longer feel like you are just getting through life, you will feel like you are actively participating in your own becoming, and this participation will make even the smallest moments feel meaningful. Because you will be present for them, you will feel them, and you will appreciate them in ways you never did before, and this presence will deepen your connection to yourself and to the world around you, allowing you to experience life not as something that is happening to you, but as something that is unfolding with you, and this shift in perspective will bring a quiet joy into your heart, because you will realize that you are not behind, you are not broken, and you are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment, learning exactly what your soul needs to learn. And this realization will give you the courage to keep going even when the path is unclear, because you will trust that every step you take is leading you somewhere meaningful, and this trust will become stronger with time, because every time you follow your intuition and it leads you somewhere good, you will remember that you have a deep inner wisdom that you can rely on, and this reliance on yourself will build a kind of confidence that no external success could ever give you, because it comes from knowing that you can handle whatever life brings your way, and this knowing will free you from the constant fear of failure, because you will understand that even when things do not go as planned, you are still learning, still growing, and still moving forward, and as you continue to move forward with this gentle courage, you will begin to create a life that feels more aligned with who you really are, a life where you no longer feel like you are pretending, hiding, or shrinking, but where you feel free to be yourself, to express your truth, and to follow your heart. And this freedom will be one of the greatest gifts of your awakening, because it will allow you to live not in fear, but in authenticity, not in doubt, but in trust, and not in survival, but in a quiet, steady sense of peace that comes from knowing that you are finally on your own side, walking your own path, and honoring your own beautiful, unique journey. As this sacred message continues to move through your awareness, you are now entering a deeper layer of your transformation where you begin to realize that the world you experience is not only shaped by what happens to you, but by what you believe about yourself, and for so long you carried beliefs that told you that you were not enough, that you had to struggle to be loved, and that you had to prove your value. And these beliefs quietly influenced every choice you made, every relationship you entered, and every dream you hesitated to pursue. But now those old stories are slowly dissolving, because you are awakening to a truth that is far more powerful, the truth that you were always worthy, always deserving, and always enough. And this realization is not something that happens all at once. It unfolds gently, like a sunrise, bringing light into places that were once hidden in shadow, and as this light grows, you begin to see yourself more clearly, not through the eyes of your past pain, but through the eyes of compassion and understanding, and this new way of seeing yourself will change the way you experience everything, because when you treat yourself with kindness, you naturally choose better for yourself, you set healthier boundaries, you speak your truth with more confidence, and you allow yourself to dream bigger, because you are no longer afraid of being disappointed, you are more afraid of not honoring your potential. And this shift is powerful, because it moves you from a life of survival into a life of growth, and growth feels different. It feels expansive, hopeful, and full of possibility, and as you continue to grow, you may notice that certain people or situations no longer resonate with you, and this is not because you are becoming cold or distant, it is because you are becoming more aware of what truly nourishes your soul, and when you know what nourishes you, you no longer settle for what drains you. And this will lead to changes in your relationships, your work, and even the way you spend your time, because you will begin to choose alignment over attachment, peace over chaos, and truth over comfort. And while these choices may feel difficult at times, they will always lead you closer to yourself, and being close to yourself is the greatest gift you can give your life, because when you are connected to your inner truth, you are never truly lost. And even when you do not know exactly where you are going, you trust that you are being guided. And this trust will become your anchor when uncertainty arises, because you will know that no matter what happens, you are capable of handling it with grace, wisdom, and resilience, and this knowing will give you a quiet confidence that allows you to move forward even when fear whispers in your ear, and instead of listening to that fear, you will listen to the deeper voice within you that says you are ready, you are worthy, and you are strong enough to create the life you desire. And as you continue to listen to this voice, you will find yourself taking small but meaningful steps toward your dreams, not because you are forcing anything, but because you are finally allowing yourself to believe that a better life is possible for you, and this belief will begin to open doors that once seemed closed, bringing new opportunities, new connections, and new experiences into your world. And these new experiences will help you see just how far you have come, reminding you that every challenge you survived was preparing you for this moment of awakening, this moment where you no longer live from fear, but from faith in yourself and in the unfolding of your life. And as you walk this path of faith, you will feel more at peace, more present, and more aligned with who you truly are, because you are no longer trying to become someone else, you are simply becoming more of yourself. And this is the most beautiful journey you will ever take, one that leads you home to your own heart, where love. As this journey of awakening continues to unfold within you, you are now reaching a point where you no longer feel the same attachment to the old versions of yourself that were built out of fear, survival, and the need to please others, because something within you has begun to recognize that you deserve to live a life that feels true, peaceful, and aligned, and this recognition is gently guiding you away from what no longer serves your spirit, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. Because growth often asks you to let go before it shows you what is coming next, and in this space of letting go you may feel moments of emptiness, but that emptiness is not a loss, it is an opening, a sacred space where something new and more beautiful can enter, and as you sit with this space rather than rushing to fill it, you begin to hear your inner voice more clearly, guiding you toward choices that reflect your deeper values rather than your old fears, and this inner guidance will become one of your greatest gifts, because it will help you navigate through life with a sense of trust rather than anxiety, and as you trust yourself more, you will begin to see how much strength and wisdom you have always carried within you, even during the times when you felt weak or lost, and this realization will bring a quiet pride into your heart, not the kind that needs to be shown, but the kind that simply knows that you have come a long way. And this pride will motivate you to keep moving forward, even when the path is not clear, because you will know that every step you take is part of a greater unfolding that is leading you toward a life that feels more authentic, more meaningful, and more deeply aligned with your soul. And as you continue to follow this unfolding, you will notice that life begins to feel are becoming. And this becoming is not something you need to rush, because every phase of your growth is sacred, and every version of you has something valuable to offer, and as you honor each stage of your journey with patience and compassion, you will discover that you are not behind, you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what your soul came here to learn, and this understanding will bring you a deep sense of peace. Because you will no longer be fighting against your life. You will be moving with it, trusting that even when you do not have all the answers, you are still being guided, protected, and supported in ways that are always working for your highest good. There is a moment in every soul's journey when something deep inside quietly shifts, a moment when the old ways of thinking, fearing, and doubting begin to feel too small for the person you are becoming, and this moment is happening to you right now even if you cannot fully explain it, because growth rarely announces itself loudly, it whispers through discomfort, restlessness, and a feeling that you are meant for something more than what you have been settling for, and for a long time you may have lived in survival mode, doing what you had to do just to get through each day, learning how to adapt, how to please, and how to keep going even when you were tired, hurt, or confused, and this survival taught you strength, but it also taught you habits that no longer serve the higher version of yourself, habits like doubting your worth, ignoring your needs, and staying in situations that drain your spirit. And now those habits are being gently challenged, not to punish you, but to free you. Because the life you are meant to live cannot be built on the foundation of fear, it must be built on the foundation of truth, and the truth is that you are worthy of peace, you are worthy of love, and you are worthy of a life that feels aligned with who you really are, and this realization is beginning to soften something inside you, allowing you to release the heavy stories you have been telling yourself about not being enough, not being ready, or not deserving of more, and as these stories fade, a new voice begins to rise, a voice that speaks with clarity and compassion, reminding you that you have always had the power to choose differently, to walk away from what hurts, and to move toward what nourishes you, and this power may feel unfamiliar at first, because you have spent so much time giving it away, but as you begin to reclaim it, you will notice a quiet confidence growing inside you. A confidence that does not need to be loud or prove anything, it simply knows, and this knowing will change the way you experience your life, because you will no longer be guided by the fear of losing something, you will be guided by the desire to honor yourself, and when you honor yourself, you naturally begin to make choices that support your well-being, your dreams, and your deeper sense of purpose, and this is why you may feel called to let go of certain people, habits, or environments, not because they are bad, but because they no longer match the energy of who you are becoming, and letting go can feel painful, but it is also one of the most loving things you can do for yourself, because every time you release what no longer fits, you create space for something that does, and this space is where new possibilities are born, and in this space you will begin to feel lighter, freer, and more open to the beauty that life wants to show you, and as you move through this openness, you will notice that even the challenges you face feel different, because you are no longer meeting them with panic or self-doubt. You are meeting them with curiosity and courage, asking what you can learn rather than why this is happening to you, and this shift in perspective is powerful, because it turns every obstacle into an opportunity for growth, and growth is what your soul is craving now, not more comfort, not more distraction, but more truth, more depth, and more connection to who you really are. And as you continue to choose growth over fear, you will begin to build a relationship with yourself that is rooted in trust, and this trust will become your anchor when the world feels uncertain, because no matter what happens around you, you will know that you can rely on yourself to navigate it, and this reliance will give you a sense of freedom that no external success ever could, because it means you are no longer waiting for someone or something to save you, you are stepping into your own power, and this power is gentle, not forceful. It is the quiet strength that comes from knowing your worth and honoring your truth, and as you continue to live from this place, you will attract people and experiences that reflect the respect you have for yourself, creating deeper connections and more meaningful moments, because when you treat yourself with love, the world learns how to love you too, and this love will not always come in the form of easy days. Sometimes it will come as challenges that push you to grow. But you will meet those challenges with a new kind of resilience, because you will know that nothing is happening to you to break you, everything is happening to shape you into someone who can hold more joy, more peace, and more fulfillment, and as this understanding becomes part of you, you will feel a sense of calm that stays with you even when things are unclear, because you will no longer be afraid of the unknown. You will see it as a space of possibility, a place where new chapters can be written. And you are the author of those chapters, choosing with every thought, every action, and every moment of self-respect the kind of life you want to live, and this choice is what will guide you forward, gently but surely, toward a future that feels more aligned, more meaningful, and more deeply connected to the truth of who you are, a future where you no longer live in survival, but in a quiet, steady, and beautiful sense of becoming. As this journey continues to unfold within you, something subtle yet powerful begins to take root, a deep inner steadiness that does not depend on what is happening around you but on what you are finally realizing within yourself, because you are starting to understand that your peace does not come from fixing the world, pleasing everyone, or controlling every outcome. It comes from knowing who you are and standing in that truth without apology, and for so long you were taught, either directly or quietly through experience, that love had to be earned, that rest had to be deserved, and that your worth was something you had to prove, and these beliefs kept you in a constant state of striving, always doing more, giving more, and sacrificing yourself just to feel accepted. But now those old patterns are slowly loosening their grip, because your soul is learning that it was never meant to live in exhaustion or self-abandonment. It was meant to live in alignment, and alignment feels like relief. It feels like being able to breathe again after holding your breath for too long, and as this relief moves through you, you will begin to notice that your body, your mind, and your heart are no longer constantly on edge, because you are finally allowing yourself to be where you are without judgment, and this acceptance is deeply healing, because when you stop fighting yourself, you free up so much energy that was once spent on fear, regret, and worry, and this energy can now be used to build something new, something that feels more honest and more fulfilling, and as you start to build from this place of honesty, you will make choices that may surprise you, because they will come from your true desires rather than your old fears, and this can feel unfamiliar, because you are no longer moving from what you think you should want, you are moving from what you actually want, and this authenticity will bring a new kind of clarity,